This guy played a game of FAFO with the Arkansas justice system, and the Arkansas justice system won. Before I get started, there is a 75% chance I'm going to mess up this name. I apologize in advance. You can let me know how to pronounce it in the comments. Just know that I did look it up though. On July 12th, 2022, a camp counselor and a 16-year-old female went to the Rogers Police Department to report a grape that had occurred. The victim in this case told police that since 3 months after she turned 16 years old, the man that she stayed with, Bellot Doucoure, had been forcing her to have intercourse with him. The victim gave police the address where the assaults had occurred and also told police that the last assault had occurred around 2 a.m. that same day. According to the victim, 3 months after her 16th birthday, Bellot just came into her room and started touching her inappropriately and taking her clothes off. She told Bellot that this was something that she wasn't interested in, and she said that that just made him angry and mean. She couldn't stop crying during the incident, but that didn't seem to deter Bellot at all. He just finished and then cleaned himself with a yellow towel. After that initial incident, the assaults kept occurring multiple times a week until the day the victim went to police. The victim was able to describe to police different areas of the house where the assaults occurred and different items that were used during the assaults, including lubricant. The victim was also able to describe in detail the clothes that she was wearing when the last assault occurred. The victim also described clothes that she put on after that last assault. According to the victim, Bellot told her that he was Muslim and it was tradition for him to take the virginity of a 16-year-old female. And then after he took that female's virginity, he was supposed to send a picture of the virgin blood to his family's group message thread in order to protect her. But according to the victim, since she was not a virgin, Bellot told her that he would have to have intercourse with her until she turned 18 years old. Police were able to go to Bellot's home and make contact with him. They asked him if he would come down to the police department for an interview, and he did agree. And by doing that, they were able to secure the house until they could obtain a search warrant. When police started asking Bellot questions, of course, he denied any involvement. He denied the allegations as a whole, but he did say that his religion required him to have sexual intercourse with the victim for a sin that she committed. It doesn't say what that sin is, but that Bellot did tell police that he is against his religion, so he didn't do anything like that. When police asked Bellot about the possibility that they would find any corroborating evidence to what the victim said, Bellot said the only corroborating thing that he would think the police would find was that a few months earlier, he had bought a new sheet set and gave his old sheet set to the victim, and he had masturbated in his bed prior to giving the sheet set to the victim at some point. So they may find his DNA on that sheet set that now belonged to the victim. Now, police asked Bellot about what he did the night before and what time he got off work. Bellot did say the exact same thing that the victim had said. He worked for a rideshare company and he got home around 2 o'clock in the morning. Only Bellot said that he went into the victim's room, checked on her, and then he went to bed, where he pleasured himself, cleaned himself off with a towel, and then went to sleep. Which I think that the whole reason, of course, for him to say this is because he knows that police are going to find fresh, biological material, and this gives a reason for it to be there. Bellot did admit to police that he had bought 2 toys for the victim. One was glass and the other was not, and that he had several cell phones set up around the house that he used as recording cameras. But he continued denying that he had any sort of inappropriate contact with the victim and said that it was against his religious beliefs to lie or drink alcohol. Police did arrest Bellot Doucoure and charged him with 3 counts of rape and 3 counts of second-degree SA. Bellot Doucoure ended up having a jury trial in October of 2023. In October 2023, the jury found Mr. Doucoure to be guilty of all 3 counts of rape. And not only did they find that he was guilty of this rape as a guardian of the victim, but they sentenced him to 3 consecutive life sentences. The jury did have the option to run the life sentences concurrently, where he would have essentially served 1 life sentence, but they specified that they wanted those sentences to run consecutively, meaning one right after the other. And I do want to be clear before I say the next part of what I'm going to say. I'm not speaking specifically about Mr. Doucoure or anything about this case specifically as to whether I believe that he is guilty or not guilty, but just in generalities. I think that one of the issues with the criminal justice system in the United States is that if you go to a trial and you are found guilty, you will end up getting 9 times out of 10 a longer sentence than if you just took a plea bargain. It's almost like a punishment for taking your chances by having a trial, but we are guaranteed the right to have a trial in front of a jury of our peers. So it's really a double-edged sword that did not work out in Mr. Doucoure's favor. And I do think that this is one of the reasons why so many people accept guilty pleas, even though they are later found to be factually innocent of the crime, because they feel like they don't have any option. They are told up front, if you go to a jury trial and you are found guilty, you will end up getting a longer sentence. Specifically in this case, I do think that this sort of sentence sends a strong message to other rapists that we will not put up with people who harm our children. If only every person who harmed children was sentenced this way. Unfortunately, they aren't. But what is your opinion on this, and what case do you want to hear next?